Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, I gotta again say, again, I use this reference Camp A, Camp B. Right? In a perfect world, Michael and Willow can figure their shit out one way or the other. Right? In a perfect world, that would happen. Unfortunately, you have people that are interjecting themselves in a situation that would be better left for those two. Okay. And Nina, I will sit there and say she is being somewhat the reasonable one, but ultimately I would just love it where you would just have Michael and Willow figure their stuff out. Okay. Because you got Drew and Willow there practically sitting there saying you should go for full custody. You have Carly that because Michael was incapacitated, Carly decides to lead charge and she is just filled with emotion. You know, when Sonny finds out what's going on, finds out that, Carly is going to sit there and be in court, she's going to be handling this whole thing, Sonny's like, that's a bad idea. Okay? Because when he asks, do you think that she's a good mother? Not do you like her as a person or anything like that, or decisions that she made as far as the relationship with Michael, do you think that she's a good person? Because for me, it always comes down to a good mother is not necessarily a good wife. Sometimes a good wife is not necessarily a good mother, right? Willow is not a good wife, but I will sit there and say that she's a good mother. Regardless of who she's with and how much people don't like him, her by herself is a good mother. But she's just like, oh, the choices she made, this, that, and the third. You can just tell. This is just emotionally fueled. So she's like, no, I don't think that she's a good mother. I'm like, okay, halfway through that rant, I kind of just like dozed off because all I heard was just reasons why you don't like her. Hell, it even comes to a point where towards the end, Sonny comes to Willow and it's like, listen, let's just try to talk this out, have cooler heads prevail before things get ugly. And I think on some level, Nina does the same thing with Carly. Comes over there, it's like, hey, listen, we got to sit there and talk because this is getting crazy. Right? This is just, it's getting crazy. We got to figure this shit out. Um, I mean, hell, Sonny already didn't like the fact that Carly decided to make this date and Michael not be there. Carly, she's just full of emotion, full of rage, and she practically is like, well, it's going to work out. Sonny's like, you do understand that if you go to court and you lose these kids, you're practically going to lose your son. Are you ready for that? Carly being Carly, not really snipped thinking, just acting off of emotions, is just gonna do what Carly does and then say, I'm a Spencer, like Lulu, right? Now, looking at Willow, right? Now I like Drew. But I'm like, right now, Drew is radioactive, okay? You don't need to be sitting there strolling in a courtroom. He can't even sit there and confirm yet or not was he actually drunk or not. So right now, the court's going to look at this like, oh, you're hanging out with the uncle, the congressman who slept with his nephew's wife and was on ketamine. Yeah, I don't think the kids actually belong in that house. She's constantly fearing and worrying about Carly taking her goddamn kids. I'm like, all you're doing is literally giving her the ammunition to do it. Now, for somebody who says that they love their kids, they care about the kids, and everything like that, you are going about this in the wrong way. You already was upset with him because you felt like this was a good time to lose your kids. They'll lose the kids. I'm like, in all reality, I do think that if Willow did go to Carly, I don't know. I mean, right now he's radioactive. You know, before I would have been like, all right, now after that little scandal, you might want to kind of, distance yourself from. And that's something that she was in Curtis' office with after she was there berating him about why you not sitting there on the hit piece on Drew and everything. And Curtis is like, well, Portia thinks it's a bad idea because this, that, and third. And then he's just like, oh yeah, he's also blackmailing my wife. You know, this is after Nina was sitting there practically, um, venting to Curtis about her issues and everything like that. Ava is talking to Portia. And, Portia is talking about the demands are getting worse. He's asking for impossible things that I'm not even going to be able to sit there and spend. And then Ava's like, well, he's pressuring Trina. He's giving demands to Trina. What demands is he giving? Oh, the documentary. Oh, you mean the documentary that she um, voluntarily signed up for? So now she's blowing that out of proportion. I'm like, okay, I don't think even Ava was like the guy was actually being a gentleman or whatever. She's like, oh, I hate girls. I'm just like, okay, join the club. Ava at this point, in some ways, I mean, I would pick Bill Spencer to be my motivational coach, but my second backup would be Ava. Okay, because Ava's at this point, it's like, yo, you know what? Tell your husband. Tell your goddamn husband. And Portia's all petrified. Oh, if I do that, and I'm gonna lose Curtis, and that's how Jordan lost Curtis. And she's like, stop making excuses. Tell your goddamn husband. And I love that. I love that. Listen, Ava can get on my nerves at times, especially with this whole blackmailing thing. I think she's going about it in the wrong way. And if her ass winds up going to jail, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. But like, she's telling her the truth. Just tell her. Talk about it. Work it out. Because I mean, maybe he could sit there and help you. I mean, Nina didn't really help. Nina helped herself with the ketamine, but what did she really do for you? I mean, at least as Curtis knows, but, they're going to stop the cops from knowing, so, there's that. Now, speaking of Drew is there with Tracy. He's hashing out the details again, just saying that he wants the family's last name. I don't know why, but his demands just keep getting worse. He wants Boyles to take over Laura's job because he feels like Laura's too soft. We want him away from the mayor's office. We want him out of Port Charles. That's what we want him. Don't you want that too? Tracy's like, yeah, but she's my friend. Drew's like, F that friendship. She got to go. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be a big boy now. I want to live on the. I don't. I want to live on the grounds again. Why? Now, of course, Tracy's like, you got to talk to Monica about that. Monica's the one that actually kicked me off the property, which I think that was a trash ass move. I will always think that's a trash ass move, and I think that AJ has done far worse. So I'm not even. No, AJ's literally the person that caused that had Jason literally brain damage, turned into a completely different person. Sonny's puppet for forever at that point. So you didn't kick him out. So no, we're not doing that. But it's her grounds. Moreover, why do you want to live in a house where everyone's constantly shitting on you? Olivia isn't there crapping on him. Lois is crapping on him. Gio's crapping on him. Tracy, Ned. Like, why would you want to sit there and be around people who has that type of energy towards you? I don't know about you. I don't want to sit there. I don't even want to sit there and sometimes. You know what? I'm not going to sit there and say that. I'm going to keep that one and maybe save that for members. But the point is, I don't want to be in a situation where I feel like I'm in a hostile environment. right? I don't want to do that. So I don't know why he's not there asking for this stuff. Now, in reality, have the quarter made a name. Make a damn name for yourself. And F them. They don't sit there and rock with you, that's fine. You don't need to rock with them. End of story. No, not one person in that damn house has practically been, has been guilty of something, so F them. He gets summoned. He gets summoned by Curtis, and Curtis is like, you're blackmailing my wife. And what are you going to do about it? Like, seriously, what if he just sat there and said, yeah, yeah? What are you going to do about it? Hmm? What is he going to do about it? Let's just sit there and say he says yes. What are you going to do? Yell, ball up his fist, be all mad in his big boy feelings? You ain't doing shit. That's the bottom line. You ain't doing a goddamn thing. Now, Isaiah Smith, they're talking to Willow. One of the things that I really was not a fan of to some extent was when Willow Smith is saying in an ideal world, because she's Smith there talking about her custody case and divorce case and everything like that. And she's like, in an ideal world, she's like, I want the kids to live with me. Why? What makes you more qualified to be, like, what makes you more, like, part of me is just like, why can't the kids not live with Michael? Why can't you not sit there and share alternate days or whatever? Do it some sort of way, but I don't know. Something about that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, she's not as like demanding like Sasha is, but like you want the kids to live with you, and you want the kids to sit there and live with you, and you think that he's just supposed to be okay with that. I mean, it gets to the point where she talks about like if it gets out of hand, so custody, and Isaiah's like, whoa, 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 like, hey, what are you doing? But there's a point where he does sit there and say, you give him so much advice from so many other people, you don't need mine. She's like, oh, I'm sorry for snapping. I didn't think that she snapped, but the point is that this is the problem. She's listening to everybody else. Now, she did sit there and say that she tried to talk to. I think part of the reason why she wanted sole custody or whatever she was talking about was because Michael said, no, I don't want to see you. And she gets so upset, and I'm like, you slept with another man. Why the hell do I want to sit there and see you? I don't even want to breathe the same air as you, let alone see you. So, like, she's getting all upset about it, and I'm like, didn't you just sit there and kick Drew out to the curb because you thought that he cheated on you? And y'all just dating. Y'all two were married. Part of me is just like, I don't understand how she does not see his point of view. Now, we all know that that's false, that he would have talked to her, but Drew, being who Drew is, decided to make sure that that didn't happen, which that's not love at that point. That's control. If we're going to be honest, that ain't love. That's control manipulation. Um. Anyway, I think the last scene is Gio and Rocco and Lulu and Cody. And all Lulu do is sit there and speculate. But she's just like, when she does see Gio and Brooklyn, um, Gio does apologize to Lulu, and Lulu's like, hey, listen, I'm just glad that everything is okay and worked out. Brooklyn is riding hard from Smith there saying, if it wasn't for Gio, getting back home, who knows what would have wound up happening, right? So, I mean, she's riding hard from him, and, Lulu's Smith there thinking, oh, well, maybe that's some sort of maternalistic mama bear mode or some shit like that. I don't know. But the point is, she's like, the best way to sit there and get evidence is to sit there and find out where Camilla was the day that Gio was born. And then, Rocco Smith there apologizing to Gio for having Dante come down so hard on him. And, Gio's like, hey, listen, me and Dante will work our stuff out. Don't let it interfere with your relationship. with your dad. Because Rocco was like, listen, I did it, you didn't do it, and it's not fair. Rocco's taking responsibility. It is Dante that at this point is acting like a goddamn Karen, right? But after after Rocco leaves, Gio takes this. He's still taking it hard. He's like, he has no use for me. He thinks very little of me, and I'm pretty much kind of fine with that at this point. I can't sit there and be harping on that. Like he's still taking it hard and very personal, and it sucks. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. Now, I can't think of anything else, but if I miss anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We will sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born the Beautiful and Young and Restless, and Beyond the Gates, of course. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.